Is it that?
Okay. So Onanuga herself is presenting. Oh, you guys have done it very well.
You need the last to present.
Yes, exactly.
Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Professor Loko.
Thank you. Ayobami.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hey.
I'm doing fine. Please, I've made the request that I want to share my screen by the time I'm doing my presentation.
But no,
So,
Already.
okay. Mo rí pé kò tí wà enabled, mo ṣe sọ sílẹ̀.
Someone pay.
Tó bá ti
You have to control it by yourself from the own.
I want to do so. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, the second presenter is also on that.
Oh, the second presenter is there already. So we're already at 3:45, and you're all welcome. But may I know, I was just talking with someone, so I didn't hear what Ayobami was saying. Can you repeat what you said?
No, you was talking about giving a permission to start.
I was talking to the people behind the system. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's great.
Thank you, sir.
Then the second presenter is please tell me your means presenter.
Okay.
Mr. Lighton.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, you can hear us.
Yes, I'm alive. I hope you can hear me very well.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you very clearly. I want to welcome everybody to this last segment of the love in the two previous panels, which were well received, and the papers or the presentations were categorized into three. And given the task ahead, we are hoping that we will receive enough feedback, both from people online and people here, so that these papers can be strengthened for publication in the special issue that is coming out. So once again, the title of this panel is Love in the Time of Lights. A very creative title. Good. Dating and Matchmaking in Nigeria's Digital Media, Part 3. And the panel is organized by Ayobami Onanuga, who is an independent researcher, and Ibitayo Odetade, who is at Adeyemi Federal University of Education. We have three presentations here today. The first is humorizing the male gaze in Nigerian online dating shows. And that will be taken by Ibitayo Odetade. Then the second, who is also the co-organizers, the organizers of the panel have carefully curated themselves into this last segment. So they have been monitoring what has been going on. And so we have the second presenter presenting last, while the first independent researcher, that is Ayobami, will present last. So the second presentation is language use, humor, abuse, and objection in social media dating shows by Oloiton Adeshina, who is also an independent scholar. Good. And the last is, of course, by Onanuga herself, Dr. Onanuga herself. This Visa for Love, exploring social mobility and matchmaking in Nigerian digital media. So the last time that I shared this panel, I gave 20 minutes. Yes, I gave 20 minutes, and then we didn't have enough time for discussion. I think that today, and besides, the presenters had too much time on their hands. So today, I am asking that we take 15 minutes. Please regulate your presentation into 15 minutes. And I start with Odetaye. You're welcome to give us your humorizing the male gaze in Nigerian online dating shows. Your time starts now.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. You are welcome to this panel on love in the time of life. As has been said, I will present on the topic humorizing the male gaze in Nigerian online dating sites. As we all know, I spent a month. No, not that one. The last one, 1, 2, 3. I expect that my slides will be on the screen. Sorry, yeah, that's
Okay.
yes. I'm Tayo Odetaye from the Department of English at the Federal University of Education. I must state at the onset that this is still a work in progress. We welcome feedbacks that will improve the quality of this paper, like the chair said. Now, before I go to the introduction, I want to state from the beginning that the definition of love has been redefined in these present times, especially especially with the advancement in technology. And creatively, people have redefined love in terms of virtual participation, virtual engagement. And prior to this, the traditional media, as we all know, most importantly through the medium of radio, I know that during the 90s, even 2000s, I also know that during the medium of radio, especially there's a program I used to listen to, and the man is called Oluwaye Gbokofuwon. That is the master of giving people husbands and wives. That was on radio then, because these people who will matchmake together, but they will have to write a letter to him on the radio to submit. Then they will read the letter on the radio. This also person is looking for husband, is looking for wife, is of this, is of that. But then the advancement in technology has shifted that dimension from even not seeing again. Now we can see through the virtual space. Then also, I also want to note that COVID-19 also fueled the need to date in space, because during the COVID-19 era, nobody goes anywhere. We all stay at home and we have much fun. And even during this time, people creatively engage themselves in so many things, including having to begin these online dating shows. So, like I said, online dating shows reproduce the male gaze and also use humor to expose and subvert it. Okay, the next slide. Dynamics of online dating shows. I've explained before that it used to be called blind dating, where people don't see themselves at the instance, but now you can see your partner online. Even though online, there are so many issues attached to online dating, because the person that you are claiming to see on the space might have done so many things. Maybe with this advancement technology, there's a way you can do it.
Photoshop, exactly.
To make it more beautiful, such that even when you see the person physically, you begin to wonder, is this the person that I'm talking to online? So this advancement has done that. Then video calls on social media applications. Video calls has actually changed the face of online dating. And even, like I said, it can be manipulated. You can see that I've had on my phone, I was looking at using this ordinary camera. Then I saw AI camera that can actually moderate my face and change it to something else. So there's something to be noted about that. Then I also observed that for online dating shows, recently there is an anchor that starts as the moderator of the program. Then a client. I deliberately used a client because these young ones, even older ones, because we have dating site now for older ones. Now, for these programs, they are clients because they have to register on the show.
Mm.
And I'm aware that even on some of these shows, some of them actually pay to be on these shows. So then the commercialization of these shows is an important issue that we cannot wave aside, because people register, they don't just register with empty hand or with empty mouth. They have to pay, even if a token. Now, the next slide, because I don't want to spend like 10 minutes. Now, the Miguel theory is credited to Laura Malvi, 1975. In that theory, women are seen as objects of spectacle, and men are seen as the viewers, agents of assessment of the female proportion. Because the way the ladies or even girls, okay, the male viewers are the ones to judge whether they are beautiful, whether they are good, all the qualities listed, whether they have them. Then video clips on popular social media often reinforce this male desire. Whether we like it or not, whether they are pre-recorded or they call it live show. But then the live shows are recorded with the assumption or with the sense that they are recorded, and so they have to compose themselves. And some of these things, when they appear on social media, Facebook, TikTok, WhatsApp channels, they are all around us, and we can't wave them aside. And we can't say people should not meet on the streets. That cannot be waved aside. And also said that gender power dynamics in traditional visual media, which I think I've said something about that. Okay, I have some videos that I want to use to illustrate what I'm saying. But after this particular slide, you want me to play the first one. I hope it shows. Okay, the male gaze in Nigeria online dating shows. Men are often the decision makers, as women are objects of choice in some of these videos. But then there's a subversion of rule now, because from these online dating shows, there's a there is a shift to a narration of the sex act itself. And even on TikTok now, they have devised a means that they use. Now they don't say whatever they want to say in English again, so that they will not incur the wrath of the online, the rules and regulations of TikTok. Maybe TikTok will have to ban them. But now there's a shift in narration. These people are devising means to say whatever they want to say in Yoruba language. And even on the shows, when they talk about this sex matter, whenever you want to say it in English, change it, say it in Yoruba, change it in Yoruba. So I think there's a shift to that aspect now. Then common truths of description include light skin. Those are the criteria of description that these men use on these online dating shows. Light skin, she must be light skin, she must be a white material. I don't know the assessments they have to say someone must be a white material. It must be a submissive wife, in quotes, and so on and so forth. Then there's visual framing and description, emphasis on body structure. Okay, environmental description in terms of the house arrangement. For example, on Legged Miami show, I'm aware that when you come on the show, if you are a guy, a lady, in fact, there was a guy that Legged Miami asked to said, step backward, turn around, let's see you. Turn the video to all the corners of your house. In fact, there was one that he asked to go outside, show us the environment. That one said he's in London. And so the guy did not believe him. And so go outside, show us the environment everywhere. So this is what I tag as environmental description in terms of the house arrangements, how they are. Then humorous conversations. Sarcasm, jokes about descriptiveness in terms of biological makeup and identity formation. In fact, some of these guys that come on these online dating shows, for example, they have a description in their mind that they want. So let's go on. Can you play the first video? Okay. It will show. You see? Is it going to show? It will show. Okay. So we should minimize this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we see that?
Yes.
That's the point of attraction. The backside. Okay, let's move on. We don't have much time. Let's return to the slide. I'm on slide 6. Okay. Now we can also not remove the fact or the point about audience engagement of these online dating shows. We cannot remove it. Comments from the audience serve as judgment of the participant's composure during the conversation. But there are, in fact, on TikTok, they make it a live show, and participants will participate. They comment, they use emojis, and some of the descriptions that they have there form a kind of opinion about how they perceive these women or how they perceive women generally. There's social media mockery of the participants, especially the women. Then men culture turns the gaze of men looking for extraneous qualities in women, like the issue of submissiveness, the issue of the fact that a woman must be a wife material, in quotes. Then public humor creates an identity information in terms of how people form their opinion of biological differences about women. These are some of the things that these online social media sites have done. Then, oftentimes, this results into body shaming. We don't know what body shaming is all about. Where people comment that this part of the body of this one is too small, it's too big, it's too this and that. Then, how does online dating shows contribute to identity formation?
3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I'll not need to show all my videos.
Yeah, but just go ahead. Let's see.
Okay. How does online dating shows contribute to identity formation? One, it contributes to how individuals perceive themselves in terms of romance, attraction, and social value. The shows often reinforce traditional gender roles in terms of submission. In a world where sexualities are many online dating shows traditionally reinforce heteronormative identities. And these shows often commercialize relationships, which I've mentioned earlier, thereby reinforcing the idea that relationships are performative and transactional. Then, beyond these online dating shows, the narratives of sexuality, which I mentioned the other time. Now, sex as narrative, not just an act, and not just an act that's supposed to be confined to a place. Now, the shift is now to where people actually narrate the sexual acts on the social media. They're enforcing the silence, marginalized groups, women use storytelling to reclaim sexual agency from patriarchal norms, conflict of cultures, traditional norms versus modern expressions, tension between shame and freedom of speech, therapeutic and subversive narrative sides as healing and rebellion against how the society wants the women to be portrayed. Online platforms are safe spaces unfiltered and diverse conversation and conversion, especially rendered in the local language, which I mentioned the other time.
Yes.
Then, conclusion.
Right.
That time will not permit me to show the other.
No, please go ahead. I want to see the videos.
Okay.
No. Yes.
The second one.
Because the videos are raising very fundamental issues.
Two of what I was pointing to the other time.
Yes.
That's for the lady to assess the. So please, the next one, there's one important one that I will need to conclude.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, not this one, the last one, the last one.
No, let's see this. Let's see that.
Okay. So
Please go back to that.
Let's work this one again. Big part of what we are saying. Maybe asking the guy to give her a number.
To do what?
Want your fun and entertainment.
She crying.
Before making fun of Lege, asking him to give them husband. Let's go to the last one.
Okay.
Last- Like I said the other time that there's a now, they are now making it lewd and they say it in Yoruba language to avoid the sanction of TikTok. I want to create the indulgence to watch it so that. Do you hear that? Now instead of government, the woman is also call it alaja so that they will evade the sanction of TikTok. So please let me conclude.
Thank you.
So
Thank
conclusion you. Now, Nigerian dating shows reflect and exaggerate the negatives. Then secondly, humor distorts passivity and turns gaze into critique. Then lastly, women are not just objects, but also agents of subversion. Thank you very much for this.
Please, can you show that conclusions where we
conclusion, yes.
Yeah. Okay, dating shows reflect and exaggerate the male gaze.
Humor distorts
passivity and turns gaze into critique. Okay.
Women are not just objects, but also agents of subversion. Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you for this performance, Good. And I want to suggest that we just put our questions together so that we can talk about it at the end of the presentations. We have two more presentations. All right. I invite Olaiton Additional to present to us language use, humor, abuse, and objection in social media dating shows. Humor, abuse, and objection in social media dating shows. Please take the table. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
Yes, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Once again, my name is Olaiton Additional, and I'm presenting a paper which I have retitled Entertainment versus Matchmaking, the
Okay.
use of humor on non-mirages the on-game show. The use of the humor on non-mirages the on-game show. Now, before we proceed, let's watch the video, the short video in the
Yes.
next slide for context.
Yes.
It's a 1-minute video.
The video play.
The slides.
The video is not playing.
The slide, it can't be played.
Oh, no, it can be played. It should play. Okay. Is there a problem playing the video? Maybe we should continue without playing the video. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? I'm sorry, I can't see the video playing, so I don't know if it's working or not.
Okay, the video is playing.
Video is playing, you can see.
Video is playing. We saw it.
Ah, okay. Because
Good.
it wasn't playing on my end, I couldn't see.
Okay,
Okay.
but it's played here. Good. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Good.
So this paper will be investigating the use of deprecating humor, that is self-mockery, sarcasm, and public ridicule on the on-game show. And we'll be talking about the tension it reveals between the show's stated aim, which is matchmaking, and its actual entertainment value. Now, we're going to be drawing, in this paper, I'm drawing from the social linguistic theory and humor studies and critical discourse analysis. And the paper will explore how humor becomes both a bonding tool and a weapon of exclusion. Can we please go to the next slide? So,
Yeah, it's at the next slide.
I think I'm on, yes, I think I'm on slide number 3 or 4 now. Okay. So, episodes of this show typically feature contestants who are not professional actors, and they create an uneasy tension between sincere self-presentation and a scripted performance. That means the host frequently, comes in with sarcastic commentary. She makes exaggerated facial expressions. That's non-Mirage herself. She makes exaggerated facial expressions, and then sometimes they insert some dramatic sound impressions, sound effects. I don't know. I wish I could play those videos again if I could play more videos, but I couldn't find a way to fit in all the videos into my presentation. So they have sound effects like all these meme effects, and they put them into the videos just for dramatic effects. And all these reframe the dating process more as theater than romance. Now, although the show presents itself as a matchmaking platform, the real narrative arc of the show is actually comedic. It's more of a comedy show. It's more of a comedy show than actual matchmaking, because the contestants' mannerisms, clothing, their speech patterns, and even their grammatical errors become punchlines for both the host and the online audience. Now, deprecating humor, by definition, is humor that mocks or undermines an individual or a group of individuals. And this is central to the on-game show's tone. It occurs in several ways on the show. First, let's go to slide number 7 quickly. So on slide number 7, yes, the on game show, like I said, the deprecating humor on the on game show occurs in several ways, in multiple registers. But I'll speak about 4 of them. The first one being host-directed and host-generated deprecation. Usually, what happens is that Nurse Mirage herself, at the beginning of the show or as the show is going on, she often interrupts or interjects with mock commentary, like I said earlier, and she makes dramatic gestures. Even from the video that we saw earlier, you would have seen that she makes dramatic gestures or sometimes playful exaggerations, like when she said, so I'm disabled now, that kind of stuff, or mimicking an individual, an accent, or even misquoting them intentionally. So that's the host directed and host generated deprecation. And then there is the guest directed deprecation, where contestants often go back and forth at themselves. They have heated exchanges where they, mock each other and they sort of attack each other. And sometimes it even, it goes borderline violent sometimes. They stop just on the line of engaging in physical violence sometimes. And they employ this deprecating humor to ridicule one another. Then the third one is the self-deprecating humor, which is the situation where an individual makes fun of himself even before other people make fun of them. So, for instance, some contestants use humor to soften their presentation, like joking about their single market status, or by joking about their educational level, or joking about their fashion sense. Even before the other contestants mock them, they already mock themselves. And then the last one is audience generated humor, which actually happens both during the show and continues even after the show. The audience generated humor happens when viewers in the comment section, employ memes, they employ slangs, they roast, they ridicule contestants, or even narrate their own version of the show, whether correctly or incorrectly. And even after the show is over, they take screenshots and they generate memes from these videos or from the sounds that come from the videos. And on to the next slide. Then we'll talk about humor and the politics of desirability. Now, on the on-game show, the humor is not always evenly distributed. Certain body types and identities are targeted by deprecating jokes. Some of these jokes, personally, sometimes I consider them a bit distasteful, but then my personal opinion doesn't really count here. So, for example, we would say, if you take a look at how overly skinny women, especially in this contemporary age, where there's a tendency for men to like more curvy women, so skinny women are generally ridiculed, and even overweight women are also ridiculed, sometimes even before they speak and the other contestants get to know them. And then contestants with non-standard English, people who are not so fluent in English, are often mocked for their grammar. And then the sad part is that even people who are quite confident are also often mocked, and they are reframed as comedic characters because of their confidence. Especially a woman who, like what we call the independent woman tag, sometimes are even mocked. And then there's also the part where men are broke shamed. Earlier we spoke about people being body shamed, but in this case we find that men are often broke shamed, where a man who enough, who doesn't appear wealthy enough, or sounds like is not a very successful individual, is shamed for being broke. Now, all this aligns with Kristeva 1985's concept of abjection, where certain figures are rendered laughable to the point of exclusion. Such humor does not only amuse, it ridicules and it disciplines. For example, women who fail to conform to a narrow definition of acceptable femininity are publicly shamed. Women who don't conform to the baby girl lifestyle, or women who don't conform to the what do they call it now? The wife material, yes, the wife material, type of femininity, they are publicly shamed. all under the banner of comedy. So it's supposed to be funny, but then the result is a digital economy of attention in which certain traits like passivity, aesthetic polish, English fluency are rewarded with audience praise and contestant selection, while others are subject to mass ridicule. Now, the show's humor is amplified and extended by its audience. I'm now on slide number 9. Yes, slide number 9. The show's humor is amplified and extended by its audience. Through TikTok edits, Twitter threads, on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram. People remix the comments on this show and they remix those moments into viral content. For example, the way a contestant laughs or the way he mispronounces a certain word becomes a meme and can be endlessly recycled out of context. This transforms the dating show into more of a participatory comedy platform and not necessarily a matchmaking one. Viewers become both judges and jesters by participating in a form of, carnival where the contestants are not so much potential partners as much as they are raw material for humor. And while the show claims to offer genuine matchmaking opportunities, I'm concluding now. Yeah. While the show offers claims to offer genuine matchmaking opportunities, the structure and tone of the show itself suggests otherwise. The host exaggerated reactions, the editing style, the audience's focus on laughter all contribute to an environment where the romance and the romantic compatibility is just secondary and the primary focus is on comedy. And in essence, the show really follows up on chosen pairs. We don't have any evidence that people who actually matched on this show compare eventually, continued in that relationship and maybe eventually got married or something. There's no evidence to that effect. So the matchmaking premise appears just as a narrative device rather than a sincere outcome. And this positions the on show closer to a satirical performance than a reality romance. In conclusion, the on show is an example of the shifting purpose of dating shows in this digital age that we live in, particularly within the Nigerian social media space. Even though it adopts the trappings, it looks like romance and matchmaking, its real power lies in the use of this deprecating humor to entertain and to construct a collective audience experience just to make people laugh. And this humor, however, it actually serves deeper social functions, in that it enforces gender norms. It makes it appear that women are not desirable unless they appear a certain way, and men are not desirable unless they have a certain amount of money in their bank account. And it creates social boundaries, and it privileges certain types of identities while shaming others. I would go further to even say that this show it doesn't offer love, but it offers spectacle. And in that spectacle, language becomes the primary medium through which contestants are either elevated or abjected. Thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much for this rich presentation on Lighton Additional. Yes, I'm enamored by the way that you have carefully established that these things that we see are performances rather than realities. There is a very strong need to make a distinction between the performance, which these shows actually are, and the actualities that they are supposed to look at, actual situations. And so it's nice that within the space of 14 minutes or 15 minutes, you've been able to establish very clearly. And of course, your materials are well curated to show that they are performances. And it is crucial to look at these things because when you yes, I'm not necessarily taking away the talk from Ayobami, but I'm happy with the engagement. This is my second panel, and I'm happy with engagement with the material as drama, histrionically structured in order to create spectacle through language and language that is humorous. Thank you for this brilliant presentation. All right. Now we go on to the last presentation of this panel, which has spanned 3 days. And we now take on the mother of all presentation, Visa for Love, Exploring Social Mobility and Matchmaking in Nigerian Digital Media. Here we'll have the convener, Ayobami Onanuga, present to us what she means by Visa for Love. Thank you very much. You're welcome to start now.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, I am Ayobami Onanuga. And the title of my paper is Visa for Love, Exploring Social Mobility and Matchmaking in Nigerian Digital Media. So I will try to make this as fast as possible. And hopefully if my cursor is not working so that I can drag my presentation as fast as I can, I hope that I can be helped from the other side there. Because my cursor is not working. I don't know why.
Okay, try it again. Let's see if it doesn't work.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Is it working?
So this is my outline. I hope everybody can see it. I will quickly go through
No,
the
we can't find it. We can't see it.
Then if that is the case, maybe I can be helped from the other side. I already sent my slides.
Yes, unfortunately, the fellow stepped out and
Okay.
Okay, good.
Anyway, not to take away from the time, let me just continue.
Please go ahead.
Yes.
Don't bother about time. Let's just see the material.
Thank you, sir. Migration and social mobility studies increasingly document how precarious situations caused by extreme poverty, low standard of living, and lack of sustainable livelihoods become responsible for urgent upward social mobility. They also note how migration to the global north is riddled with failed promises of a greener pasture. However, conversations on these concerning documents continue to gain traction, even in discourses on affect and intimate relationships, to the extent that Nigerian youth, especially relationships in a bid to get opportunities to migrate and acquire documents to stay in their countries of destinations. Information through the internet and, most importantly, relationships that could be formed online have been centered as one of the easiest ways to flee to supposed greener pastures or saner climes. Therefore, the undeniable importance of digitalization, globalization, and access to transnational mobility are continually underscored by digital dating and matchmaking practices. The extent of the possibilities of the new media is the focus of Ojebode et al. 2011, and they affirm that there are powerful indicators that the new media network shapes social behaviors, make intimate relationships and sexual mores possible. Because of these, ways the digital media is used to shape social behaviors in relation to intimate relationships, especially those formed through digital matchmaking shows, as I examine how digital citizens position a form of capital as symbolic and as an access for consideration in the matchmaking field. There have been a lot of criticisms on Nigerian women's use of digital media for liberatory conversations. And I am going to talk briefly on this because the broker for this matchmaking program that I am looking into is a woman, and she's actually very active, and she's an activist, so to say, on the social media. But I have argued in a recent paper that the use of the digital media to male domination by women continually reveals that it is not yet Uhuru for Nigerian women in their fight against male domination, especially as patriarchy and homophobia are still militating against women agency in all social spaces. My research here at IWM highlights the contradictions and failures in gender and sexuality struggles in Nigeria. To this end, I examine the centering of transnational mobility as integral capital in contemporary matchmaking practices in Nigeria. To achieve this, I draw insights from Pierre Bourdieu's conceptualizations of social mobility and symbolic capital and analyze two purposively selected YouTube videos from Yinka TNT's playlist in order to analyze how Yinka TNT's attempts to broker feasible partnering between our online clients reinforce transnational mobility are central to successful matchmaking and romantic relationships. As the videos are mostly in Yoruba, I will translate the excerpt into English. In this study, in Pierre Bourdieu's study of social practice, inequality, and domination, he debunks the idea that contemporary practices avail equal opportunities to individuals to move up the social ladder. He acknowledges the influence of the acquisition of capital, which could be economic, cultural, national, social, and symbolic, in reproducing and influencing and legitimating, inequality in the society. Capital dictates social hierarchy and places individuals as a collective and group. Bourdieu notes that there is an almost total impossibility for individuals in their struggle to become active agents in capitalist and elitist societies to be successful. He uses the term he calls les miracles, loosely translated as the miraculous, to describe the rare situations where few individuals are able to achieve upward social mobility. According to Bourdieu, there is an endless struggle for the acquisition of capital, and the struggles for capital are struggles for recognition. In the hierarchy of capitals, symbolic capital is the institutionalized and accepted form of capital, and every kind of capital tends to function as symbolic capital. Therefore, we could have, before a capital could become symbolic, it has to be recognized and legitimatized. For instance, cultural capital, which refers to the dispositions, lifestyle choices of individuals, such as skills, mannerisms, and tastes, and their general approach to life, can become symbolic. So symbolic capital derives its power from the attribution of recognition. It now defines the limits of what is and what is not doable and thinkable in terms of what is and what is not. It also differentiates and therefore establishes hierarchy. Bourdieu argues that one of the most unequal of all distributions, and probably in any case the most cruel, is the distribution of symbolic capital that is of social importance and which is also the reasons for living. Bourdieu's framings of social mobility and social capital will help my work to see how contemporary matchmaking in Nigeria digital media is a site for the establishment of a new social order and a space for the entrenchment of new forms of elitist traditions. To this end, I ask, how does the possession of visa and travel document translate to symbolic capital? To what extent is the access to transnational mobility important to belonging, acceptance, and finding love in Yekati Enti's matchmaking videos on YouTube? How is the acquisition of visa and legal documentations integral to accessing socio-economic and international networks and so facilitates upward social mobility? In other words, I examine how Yinka TNT and our clients' concrete activities and their operant mechanisms are turned into hard and enduring historical realities in the twofold guise of institutions, systems of positions, and incarnate subjectivities, which are clumps of dispositions that work in tandem to actualize symbolic divisions by inscribing them into materiality, especially as they underscore the dynamics of inclusion and exclusion in matchmaking in Nigeria digital space. I just want to talk a little bit about Yinka TNT. She's popularly referred to as Auntie Yinka by clients, and this shows that they have respect for her. She's Yinka Anyoda. She has very little information about her personality on the internet. I don't know, maybe this is to safeguard herself. But the little information about her shows that she's a Yoruba woman from Ondo State and she's resident in the United Kingdom with her family. So my analysis itself is to a particular extent straightforward so that I don't waste our time. She has a program that is called Shabarikolo on but basically this Shabarikolo itself depends so much on the app that she's already created for our clients to go to. So even if they come on a live show for matchmaking, they are always referred to the app, and she always asks them if they are participants on and if they use a app first of all. So I will briefly discuss how Yinka TNT clients present their ownership or lack of travel documents in the matchmaking video selected for this study, so as to highlight the implications of the centering of the accumulation of travel documents as symbolic capital in our understanding of migration, social mobility, and transnational relationships. As against the instant online matchmaking of other digital matchmakers like Lege Miami and Nurse Mirage, TNT does not do live matchmaking of our clients. She asks for the necessary details that will sell our clients immediately on the show. She notes these and their phone numbers and requests that their pictures and necessary documentations be sent to our WhatsApp. To enhance their matchmaking prospects and for upward social mobility, TNT scholars strategically present themselves and deploy whatever capital they have accumulated, even when it is not the validated or accepted capital. Callers from Nigeria who want their social positioning to change are expected to understand and accept the requirements of belonging to the dating field they want to be agents in. For these callers from Nigeria, TNT is quick to ask, jọ̀wọ́ nítorí Ọlọ́run, visa ìlú wo ló wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀? Please, in God's name, which country's visa do you have? This first direct question to our prospective clients sets the tone for acceptance or for rejection. Oh, qualify. You are here to qualify. Is what she tells most of Nigerians who don't have visa. Immediately they call. That's the first question she asked. With many of these callers trying their luck after repeated warnings like this, TNT is forced to re-emphasize and rephrase. Tó bá ní visa, tó bá ní means àti gba visa, pè mí. Tó bá jẹ́ regular traveller, tó ti ń travel tẹ́lẹ̀, pè mí. Má pè mí tó bá mọ̀ pé ò ní means àti travel. If you have visa, if you have the means to get visa, call me. If you are a regular traveler who has been traveling before, call me. Don't call me if you know that you don't have the means to travel. TNT is visibly relieved when she heard a caller. Hello, Nigeria ni mo ti ń sọ̀rọ̀, mo ní visa US. Hello, I am calling from Nigeria, I have US visa. For this particular caller, TNT is quick to remind her to use a pseudonym instead of disclosing her name and some personal details that could be suggestive of her identity to the audience. However, she is asked other personal questions as regards her career, duration of the visa, reasons for travel, willingness to relocate, genotype, and blood group in order to make the broker's work of finding a suitable partner easy. The caller is warned that background checks and cross-checking of the information provided would be carried out so as to detect false information. After seeing this client's picture, TNT is impressed that apart from the possession of a valid visa and a good career, the client is good looking and declares her a complete woman because of these added specifications. She tells her audience, ṣé rí pé kò lè máa gbà á. Bó dẹ̀ ṣe wà yẹn, mo mọ̀ wípé nígbà tí mo bá fi máa kúrò lórí platform yìí, àwọn bíi mẹ́jọ á ti fẹ́ pè mí nítorí ẹ̀. Nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ nìyẹn. You can see that it is not difficult. I will accept her. As she is, I am sure that by the time I leave this platform, around 8 men would have called me because of her. This is what I want. An obvious matchmaker's delight has the combination of different attributes physical, economic, and social capital, as this tend to increase the possibilities of a competitive and good match. However, in TNT's matchmaking field, there are additional attributes as the possession of travel documents. These are just additional attributes because the possession of travel documents is essential capital that promises continued accumulation or increase in other accumulations, social connections, verified and viable love interest, and upward social mobility. Bourdieu 1998 refers to this form of structuring as reflective of reality and the natural order of things, especially if it is rationalized, validated, and left unchallenged. TNT positions herself as a community head in her own dating and matchmaking field and is unbending in her expectations as she is aware that most Nigerian residents without travel documents are in need of love interest in the West so as to leverage on such relationship for social mobility and migration. Rationalizing and setting the standards for our platform are obvious strategies for TNT, who prides herself as having a community of mature clients who comport and address themselves with dignity and utmost respect in their conversations and requests. There is a foregrounded repetition for callers from Nigeria, Dubai, South Africa, and Cairo, as they refuse what is categorically denied and they will the inevitable. TNT is forced to reiterate, ẹ jọ̀wọ́ nítorí Ọlọ́run mi ò fi ṣe tákọ́. Ẹ mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin ni mo gbójúlé àtọlọ́run, ẹ̀yin ni mo fẹ̀yìntì. Ẹni tí kò bá ti meet up pẹ̀lú standard orí platform yìí fún matchmaking kó lọ ṣe níwájú. I beg you with God, I am not proud. You know I rely on you and God. If you know that you do not meet up with the standard of this platform for matchmaking, go for alternative elsewhere. Dubai, South Africa, and Korea residents and visa holders are added to the list that she doesn't allow into her dating field. Because
Bobby,
okay, sir.
You've passed your limit, but we're going to give you 3 extra minutes.
Three extra minutes. I should be rounding up. Okay, anyway, interestingly, a majority of TNT's clients in this episode are illegal immigrants. One day, a 34-year-old male single without a child resides in Germany and is without valid documents or legal papers. It's just an instance of the numerous Nigerians who called for matchmaking. TNT had to decline offers of these clients when they became too much, as it was apparent that she would need to pair clients who had valid documents with those residing illegally in their countries of residence. With the number of Nigerian men outweighing those of women, Yinka wants to confirm from her female clients if they are willing to be matched with undocumented men who are ready for serious relationships. She's quick to tell an unmarried and childless 40-year-old woman with legal documentation that she should be open to romantic relationships that could lead to childbirth with illegal migrants. This positioning perpetuates existing gender bias and marginalization of women. In other words, TNT's bias in favor of men sustains a false narrative of the death of serious men in Nigerian diasporic communities and force women to be passive participants in an important aspect of their lives and convince them to settle for less. However, TNT is always happy when she has single young male callers who have proper documentation and who are ready to be paired with women with papers. So let me just try to conclude because there is a whole lot I realized from this centering of visa as important and essential to entry the dating field. So I will just conclude that in my study, I have been able to center that and realize that Yinka TNT's digital practices is a form of elitist and exclusionary contemporary tradition, which widens existing social gaps instead of bridging them. This is seen in the different ways the studied matchmaking episodes emphasize social difference and perpetuate inequality. By creating a hegemonic dominant class from our YouTube community through the construction of access to transnational mobility as symbolic capital, TNT encourages our audience to become capital accumulating subjects. Therefore, our YouTube channel is a space where the symbolic network of modernity and transnational mobility are validated. It is also a social space that is a social design, a social order that is justified and maintains the distribution of power, and resources and its consequent privileges. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Before we go on to the discussion, you could see, I can almost say that the special issue is taking shape. You know, it's taking shape from the rear. You know, yes, I was encouraged to talk about this because right from the very beginning, Ayobami did not hide the fact that she is curating the papers, or she is assembling the papers in order to have a special issue come up. So I want to say that it is almost certain that you have a very theoretically sound paper that should start either the introduction of first chapter or first article in that special issue, because your use of Pierre Bourdieu, the symbolic capital and all of that kind of thing, establishes a strong theoretical background for the way that the papers should go, you know, that kind of thing. That's the way I see it. So you have a strong theoretical paper there in your presentation. And we Shabari Kolo as some kind of, yes, exemplification of those theoretical positions. Then Olaiton's paper, which clearly, you know, sets out much of what we see as shows, that is, as performances, will help to just simply establish the basis for the other presentations, especially the first three that I witnessed here in this place, because the presenters, you know, were not able to make a very good distinction between what is performance and what is actuality. You know, they took actual situations, you know, to mean this type of, they confuse the actual situation with performances. And this is how you should direct them to look at these things. And of course, our first paper here, you know, today, that's the one by Odetayo, you know, will become more productive if, for instance, he engages, and that you can take this down, good. If there is a good comparative study of the radio program that you spoke about first as some form of digital practice, you know, in the same way that pen pals, you know, those days when we were growing up, we had pen pals, you know, all over the world. You write to friends, and in Australia, in the UK, we don't know how many people were much made by that kind of practice. But letter writing, from letter to, you can Google pen pals, you know, and see, you know. I recall that the late Queen of England met someone in Australia that they had been pen pals long before she became Queen of England, and continued the relationship later on. So you can see the way it begins from print practice to voice practice, that is radio phoning, where the man we are talking about, the presenter, was matchmaking people, and now to the digital space, you know. If you can track these origins like this and to the current form, it will be far more productive, that kind of thing. But your paper set out to be humor, to be about humor. I think you forgot about the humor part of the paper, you know, so you can rework your paper to do that kind of thing. All right, so these are the things that I found, and I don't know how many people are there with us in the digital space, in the virtual space. Okay, now I leave the floor open. I leave the floor open to comments and questions. You're welcome to, if you have any question, please let me know so that I can, yes, and please keep them brief, because we don't have so much time again.
We have a hand up here, Abidin
Yes, there's a hand.
and
Okay, Abidin Amadu.
Dr.
Exactly.
Odotu is raising her hand. Anne.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Okay.
can I go now?
Yes, please, Abidin, go ahead.
All right, thank you very much for the very wonderful presentations. Even though it is very late in the night here in Australia, I am sure that I did not waste my time listening
Okay.
or staying up tonight. Very good. From the first speaker, my question is that how do you intend to bring the audience engagement into research discourse, theoretically, conceptually, and academically? Because you referenced audience engagement, you talked about the likes, the comments, the reactions. A video can have 20,000 comments. How do you intend to bring those comments, those reactions into the research discourse? The second thing is that how do you intend to incorporate videos into written academic papers, since most of the things you referenced are videos? So, and if the videos are out of the of the entire work, it's going to lose value. So how do you intend to do that? Another question I just want to point out is what Professor Locke has already mentioned about the radio program. There is a theory of reversal, and which says that what we used to have before that we said is bad, that technology has replaced, is what we now have now. For instance, let's take the cinema, for example. Before I was born, people would go to the cinema to see movies. Then VHS came, DVD came, people started seeing movies in their home. Now people are
Now they're
returning to the
back to
cinema.
cinemas. Yes, that's the point.
So matchmaking used to be before the internet. Matchmaking used to be between like older people connect people like the Alari nothing we used to have. Then later we started having BBN and people started pinging each other without needing a matchmaker. But now we are back to matchmaking.
Yes.
So we keep going in that circle. You might want to McLuhan 1975. Reversal in Technology is a very good book to look at.
Can you round
Let
up so that we can take others? Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. So the second observation is to the second speaker, where he talked about using social linguistics, CDA, humor, this and that. I was just wondering if that wouldn't be too much for one paper. So it would be better to streamline it and maybe have multiple papers that are connected theoretically and
Exactly.
with data. Thank you
Exactly.
very much. I think that
You're
would be
very
all.
correct. Let me just intervene there by just simply pointing out that I noted that here, that actually the second speaker, has about 2 or 3 papers here, and your discourse is within the framework of cultural studies. So by the time you start to just simply bring in or import all these very strong abstract permutations and formulations into them, you would lose the cultural node of the study. So I think I agree with you there, Abidi. Thank you very much. So there is Anne, who is, yes, can you allow Anne? Anne was our first presenter, was one of our first presenters. Anne, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and well done to all the speakers. I'm sure you can hear me, right?
Very
Welcome.
well, very
well
well.
Done
You're
to
very
all
loud.
Thank you. Well done to all the speakers. You spoke very well. For the first speaker, my what I say a question or observation was that his title on his first slide was talking about online harmonizing the male gaze in online dating sites. But then when he began to speak, and from some of the slides, unfortunately, the slides were not moving from my end. I don't know if it was only me. For the 3 presenters, the slides were not moving. So I just had to listen to what they were saying. The slides were talking about harmonizing the male gaze in online dating shows. So it needs to be consistent. Are we referring to dating sites or dating shows in this paper? Because they're not the same thing. And then the second thing I want to say is about the topic, really. Why choose male gaze, okay, as your topic, your keywords there? Because I'm wondering, are we generalizing that it's only female body parts, female body features that are relevant in this issue of male gaze? Because one of your videos showed a man doing a 360 for a woman to assess his physical features. I'm wondering, why are we using male gaze, right, in the topic to generalize the whole issue of assessing the physical attributes of the human being? When it comes to gender studies now, you might have a problem there, because remember, this paper is on gender studies, the journal. For the second speaker, well, people have already said what he wanted to say about his paper being more than one. Now, the third speaker, my question, or I don't know whether I should say is a concern, is I'm wondering, I couldn't see any of the slides moving. What are the prospects for non-Yoruba speaking participants on this TNT matchmaking show? Is there somewhere on the paper that you talked about it? Because from what I see, what I can perceive is that someone who is non-Yoruba speaking will not be able to come on this show. So is her show specifically for Yoruba speaking people? Maybe it's something you would like to highlight there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. So I see Abidin's hand is up. Oh, okay, thank you. He's taking it up. Great. So within the house here, do we have comments or questions that can enrich the discussion going on? We still have time. We're supposed to stop at 5. We still have up to 20 minutes. Yes. Am I correct? Yes. To take part yes. Anybody? Okay. Please, okay. Go ahead. Can you just introduce yourself so that...
Okay. My name is Asisa Dewey
Good.
from the Federal University of Excellence.
Okay.
Yeah. My more or less like the comments on the issue of how to integrate videos into an academic task that is meant for publications.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of publications that they go about translating it into textual. And in the reference, because what they do is in the reference, they are now expected to cite the location of the video.
Yeah.
However, because of the flimsy nature of internet, the video can be removed.
Yeah.
So in such case, the researcher is expected to download the video first.
Yes.
And store it on a Google Drive.
Good.
Then if you do it on a Google Drive and you have access to the link, then you can include the link in your paper. That gives a more or less permanent access to that document, which make your work to be robust and accessible. But another way, so far it is textual, it should be converted to textual text.
Exactly. Thank you. I think that Abidin wants to offer a clarification, of what it means by that question. Is that what you want to do, Abidin?
Absolutely, sir.
Good.
Yes, that question was intentionally asked.
Okay.
Of course, I know that you could there are ways to improvise. But what I've seen some people resort to is saving the videos. And we should not forget ethical considerations in handling data.
Okay.
When the videos are not yours, they are creative. You don't the researcher does not own the creative copyright to those videos. So I just wanted to know if the researcher has found out another way to beat ethical considerations and privacy concerns without infringing on copyright, while also giving us the best.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's a very simple response to that question. If that is what you are debating. Yes, Ayobami, I noticed you put up your hand, but there will be time for you to say a few things. A very creative way to look at this thing is to understand that what has been published and withdrawn has been published and withdrawn. If it was originally published, then it means that it has been consumed. And so the user of the material can of course, talk about this material, but acknowledge that this has been published and is no longer available. I mean, a book that you have published, for instance, and then withdrawn, does not necessarily make it impossible, or you have not withdrawn it from being consumed. In fact, the idea that a material that was previously published and therefore withdrawn makes that material more researchable, because it generates further questions. Why was it withdrawn? That kind of thing. Has it performed its own role in as a commentary on social issues or that kind of thing? It's like when a book, it's like a censored material. So if the researcher was smart enough, to just simply download it before it was withdrawn, then the only thing he owes the producer or that kind of thing is to say that, well, this material had been published but was withdrawn. The reason for the withdrawal, nobody has not been offered. But if the person offers reason for withdrawal, great. If there is an updated copy, it is also significant. And I am saying all of these based on my assumption that the issue that we are talking about is what Abidin is discussing and what the last person who made a contribution is also discussing. Thank you very much. Okay. That pardon?
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Nigerian.
Okay, go ahead.
When it comes to ethical issues,
yes, ethical issues, exactly. Okay, okay.
So that's why in referencing of online materials, we always insist that date of access should be
included.
So when that is included and is later removed, the penalty is not on your.
Oh, sure.
So you may, although now that we have things are linked, you can access the new author.
Exactly, hyperlink.
So there are some level of individuality. We have search kits that even document that are published on Taylor and Francis, Wiley, Science Direct. You can contact the author to send the copy to you without necessarily going to the tables.
Okay.
These are other ways to make sure that you start.
Yes, exactly. We're just talking about the ethics of publishing or commenting on materials that have been withdrawn, But I think that what we're looking at here is just publishing itself and the fact that something has been published and is no longer available, for consumption, But there is no ethical consideration in some of these things. But you can also look at it within the framework of your own research, and then decide whether it is ethical or whether you still want to use the material or not. But I know that a material that has been published and withdrawn or has been updated, the original version of that material constitutes a better data source than even the updated one, that kind of thing. But we don't have much time to debate this. Perhaps it can be some other discussion for another time. Thank you. So as we don't have further questions here, I'll allow the presenters to respond to the issues because they've been taking note. So I start with Odeta. Odeta, yes, okay.
Thank you very much for the suggestions and comments raised on the presentation. One of the, I think Anne mentioned the issue of focusing on the male gaze, which I found very useful. Remember, I also said in the presentation the issue of subverting sexual narratives, which is the in thing now, shifting from these matchmaking performances, I regard them as performances, going to shifting to actual narration of the sex art. So I'm also going to include that into the paper and also see how you can harmonize that into the title. Then I also found quite interesting the suggestion on the comparative study of those who are radio programs I mentioned, then to the era of letter writing, then the print practice, then to the digital space. So that's also important. Then humor, which is also good. Then the issue of audience engagement is also key to what this presentation is all about. Yeah. I may not be able to respond to some or many of these suggestions, but I've taken note of them. But lastly, the issue of ethical consideration that I think Dr. Abidin mentioned the other time in using the videos. Sometimes I've worked on this online, whatever, and what I did was that in referencing them, I copied the link, then included the access date, which the other speaker mentioned the other time. For example, if you are using the Chicago referencing style, for example, you have to include the link there, include the access date. So some other ones, we will take note of them. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Yes, I go to the second speaker. Good. I don't know if there were specific questions addressed to you, but please let us hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What I got there.
Okay.
What I tried to do there was I did bring in a number of theories. But having a linguistic background myself, I think my primary focus here should be on the social linguistic theory, and then maybe touch on the other theories along the line, but not specifically. I'll be focusing more on the social linguistic and thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we'll go to Ayobami before I make my final comments. Okay. Good. It's good to see you. Ayobami.
Thank you so much, sir.
So you are in, sorry, just tell us where you are now. Tell us where you are.
Where I am.
Because I can't, you see, you're like a spirit, you know.
I'm presently a digital humanism fellow at the Institute for Human Sciences here in Vienna.
Oh, great. Austria.
So I actually
I hope that the shooter did not get to you.
No, he didn't. It's
Okay.
happened in Graz.
It was in Graz.
He's in Austria, but he's in Graz. So if you indulge me, sir, my answer to Dr. Odo's question, then my view of my co-presenter's work, then the kind of rounding up before you go ahead as the chair. So thank you so much, sir. So I want to appreciate every other person that has been on this panel for working very hard to give us very insightful and engaging papers. It's actually very wonderful to listen to everybody, and I hopefully will be able to work more on our papers and have a very good output later on by the time we have the special issue out. So on this note, I want to inform the general house too that our CFP will be held today or latest by Monday, so that we can have more general, more people coming in, and we can have more papers to boost the special issue. And the special issue is going to come out in the Journal of Gender Studies, which is a very reputable journal.
Yes.
And we already have the floor, so there's no problem at all. So as soon as our panelists are through with integrating the feedback from this panel session, we can go ahead and submit our papers. At least we have that hedge before that's coming. We have the deadlines, but the deadlines are for the general authors coming in later on. So I don't really have much to say because almost everything had been said already. I hope that Mr. Odetadi's work can give apart from the framework that he has given us, which is actually very good, I think he will be able to be definite about the data set that he's using. Because I had a problem with pinpointing where he's bringing up his do I call it the videos from? Because I was
Yeah,
actually
the
confused
videos.
when I saw
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
macaroni on the screen, and
Yes.
macaroni is a skit,
Yes.
and it
yeah.
doesn't work with the digital
Mhm.
matchmaking and dating that we are focusing on here. So I
Mhm.
don't understand if he wants to come in with the two. I don't know where he's going to delimit
Yeah.
delimit his studies. So I think the basic weakness I saw was just the data set. So
Yes. Exactly.
he should just do that. And the theory for Mr. Olaiton had already been said, so no
Mm.
problem. Dr. Ann asked the question about non-Yoruba speakers. And just like I said, this work of mine is an extension of what I am doing here in Vienna. And basically, I'm looking into Yoruba women's digital archive, especially those who are activists using
Mhm.
their online archive to speak back against subjugation and sexual marginalization of Yoruba women in Nigeria. So we could have an outcrop of Yoruba people in Yoruba in Nigeria or outside Nigeria in the diaspora. So my work into matchmaking presently is also based on Yinka TNT's or digital archive on matchmaking. So you could note by the time you get to her archive, either on YouTube or she has a lot of followers on YouTube. And I noticed that even her followers on Facebook are even like triple of what she has on YouTube. She has like 1.6 million or 7 million followers already on Facebook. And this demographic is just basically for Yoruba speakers. So you could be from another part of the country, so long as you can speak Yoruba, you are welcome. But I have noticed basically that our clients, when they call in, they either say that they are from Ondo or Ekiti or Oshun, or even Lagos. And
We
this
have five
demographic
minutes.
just
We have 5 minutes more, and then
okay,
we have
these are
to.
the
Yeah.
ones that she just said. So I think I've been able to answer Dr. Anne's question that
Mhm.
she is just interested in Yoruba speaking clients and not more than that. Thank you, sir.
All right. So let's say our panel begins from what time to what time? 3:45 to 5:15. And when you are giving 1.5 hours or so, it doesn't mean that you should finish everything. So we're going to leave a few minutes for the timekeeper here for our digital guy so that he can sell it if he has to. Good. But we return again to Dr. Odefade's paper, just before we close, I think that you make you produce a more useful paper, in my opinion, if you focus on what you have decided now, either a comparative study of the radio programs and the other one, which will allow it to fit in very well into the framework of the paper. So I'm almost visualizing what the structure of the special issue would be like, with Ayobami's theoretical ideas and Sharab Dikolo or whatever, coming as the first. Then Olaiton's coming second. I don't know what was presented, but I'm just using the other one. Yeah, I mean, 2 days ago. And then your own, which talks about perhaps you should look at that pen pal ideas, and do another work with it so that you can from pen pal to the radio, and then from there other people take it on to the digital space. That will be fine. But that's one paper. You have another strong paper within your frame there, which you spoke about when you talk of the shift to Yoruba language to avoid censorship of the opinion. That's a very serious paper, It's a very serious paper that you can also explore, how people just simply move to avoid the kind of censorship and human rights issues that come with TikTok and all of the other kind of things, because that has generated a lot of issues with that. I remember that Twitter was banned in Nigeria because they said they were not able to filter certain things. And so if you are able to put together those materials and see how people switch to Yoruba, like when they say doggy, doggy, doggy style, doggy style.
Larger.
Yes, and I say, no, no, don't use doggy style, just say larger in order to avoid. If you're able to generate enough material, that's another beautiful paper. And yeah, that's just my advice in terms of this thing. But of course, if you want to focus on humor, then you are going outside because you don't have enough data to support it. We're all surprised when we saw Mr. Macaroni, yes, who has never presented himself as a dating, he was just a skit. All right, having said that, I want to say that this is a very productive panel. You don't have so many minutes to sell, that kind of thing. We'll get there soon. No, this has been a very productive panel comprising 3 presentations, and we have had so many ideas and all of that. I want to congratulate Dr. Nanuga and Dr. Ibitayo, Detayo, you have right, Dr. Detade, for convening this panel and for inviting us to join them. I have learned a lot, so far. And as I said, the panel will be very focused if it distinguishes between performance and actuality, or if it has a way of just simply conflating the two, but separating the two, one actuality, the other performance, that kind of thing. Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you for listening. On that, if Dr. Nanuga does not have anything else to say, I declare the panel closed, except Dr. Data has it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you, sir. We are so
Thank
grateful for
you.
your
Thank you
support.
very much.
Thank
Very
you to the
enjoyable.
listeners. Thank you for everybody participating. We are so grateful. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great.
Yeah.